going to be Cloud Kingdom for the first game, and spawning in the bottom left position, representing Root Gaming, ladies and gentlemen, a very highly skilled Korean player. We have Sage. His opponent in the top right, spawning as the Red Terran, using the in-game name iPad, loved by fans worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Axiom's very own Heart.
I am so excited about this. It is a TVP. And do you know what the best part of this is, Jorasar? Whoever wins this has a place in the grand finals in March.
No, that is absolutely true. And for those of you who are wondering what the extra bit on the overlay is, yes, this was technically recorded I think about half an hour ago. These guys played simultaneously to the other semi-final, so we are casting this from replays. However, I want to stress, none of the casters know who won this best of 3 series, and the observer doesn't know either. So
we have no clue.
Yeah, we have absolutely no clue, and this was literally recorded, probably finished about 15 minutes ago. So as far as we're concerned, this is live for us. And this has to be the best of 3 of the evening. Sage versus Heart for a spot in the £10,000 ESET UK Masters Grand Final.
So, I hope you all have a cup of tea, have a biscuit, because...
I just ran out of tea.
You just ran out of tea? I've still got half a cup here left, but I've run out of biscuits. That's the real downside. Like, I've got tea, no dunking, nothing going on. So, all of my excitement now has to come from this game, but these two are definitely going to provide it.
Yeah, they really are. Cybernetic score going down early for Sage after getting a reasonably quick double gas from him here. In the meantime, if we take a quick look at the opener we have from Heart, he has gone barracks into gas. He's also walling off as well to ensure that Sage will not be able to get a probe scout up into his base. And so far, no real aggressive scouting from either side. Heart will attempt to scout with the SCV and will be able to see what's going on. So we'll see what he does with it. Only 2 workers in each gas for our Protoss player.
Hart getting up that quick factory. He's sending that SCV in, as you quite rightly said, Jorasar. Sees everything that's going on, but it's what's going to come out of this factory that is oh so important.
Ooh, and it very well could be. We don't see any add-ons on the barracks, so we're not necessarily going to do any swap-a-roonies. Just more Marines being pumped from there. Very, very bog standard at the moment. Are we going to see Hellions pop out of the factory even? I doubt it. This isn't really Wings of Liberty Marine Hellion drop kind of territory, especially when there are so many fun new units and
Widow
fun
Mines
builds to play with. Widow Mines are a distinct possibility indeed.
And indeed,
there we go.
Widow Mines one-shotting Zealots, one-shotting Stalkers. It is good early game tactic, and with this bunker down here, what has Hart got in store for us?
This could be very interesting indeed. The bunker is going down, hopefully to deter units from coming in to scout that there's a natural there. Notice that the Zealot came within range of the bunker and immediately left. I don't think it's seen the natural location. However, the Mothership Core will.
And that Mothership Core scout is going to be oh so important, because now straight away Sage knows precisely what not precisely, but he knows his opponent is doing some kind of one-base play and was trying to mind game him out. If he scouts that starport, it's going to be oh so important. He will be able to predict that it could very well be Widow Mine drops.
Yeah, this... he actually didn't go all the way into the main. He's only seen the barracks and nothing else. So that Mothership Core getting the heck out of dodge. However, Sage can realistically expect some sort of shenanigans going down right now, so he needs to be very careful. You can see his Stalkers rally to the natural in quite a defensive position here. He's chrono boosting out that warp gate so he can grab a couple more units in if necessary. Robotics facility immediately going down, and sentries coming out on the field as well. So playing it nice and defensively.
Now, if it is Widow Mine drops, that robo is going to be oh so important for the observer. But Hellions are now following this up as well. So what does Hart have planned? Is it going to be a Widow Mine and a Hellion? Indeed it is. Using the first boost, getting over there, that will be regenerated and cooldown finished, ready to boost into the main. But Stalkers there are ready for Sage.
And we have a probe at the watchtower that will see... Oh, this is so clever. The probe at the watchtower sees the Marines coming in, but has no idea the medevac is there, has no idea what's in the medevac as well, which means the sentries and the Mothership Core are going to be positioned at the natural expansion, allowing the Widow Mines and the Hellions to... Oh, no, never mind.
Kept him up there. He must have just seen it. And there we see the boost.
What? That was huge, and he didn't see the medevac as well, so that must have been some amazing anticipation coming out of Sage there. Apologies for not seeing that until just then. But wow, that's really good considering he never saw the medevac. That's really good.
The medevac, though, it is rallied around back towards the natural, but of course Photon Overcharge is still in there, so he's got to wait until that's cleared. But Jorasar, do you know how much damage that did?
I'd wager a guess and say approximately nil.
0, zilch. One
Nada.
less than 1, and...
Well, not Nada, because Nada would have done tremendous damage.
Indeed, he would have done. So now we are looking at both players with their natural bases up, but of course there was a commitment to doing some damage there. But the follow-up, we've got a Tech Lab on that starport. We don't have a Banshee down yet, though.
Oh, so hang on, Battles. Here comes the drop once again into the natural expansion. The Widow Mines are going to get planted there. The Hellion not able to do too much damage because the probes have been pulled. And the medevac with the Hellion gets away. But there are 2 Widow Mines active and waiting to strike. It looks like we're just going to see an Observer pop out ASAP. And then the Photon Overcharge will take care of that.
Indeed it shall, and that now means that this is lost mining time for Sage, and he's just getting up his Stargate and Dark Shrine behind this, but the Widow Mines are running away. One gets picked up and will retreat.
Ooh, and the medevac getting to yellow health there, but in no real danger of going down. So a really good micro there from Heart, able to get at least one of the Widow Mines out. As it currently stands, guys, the work supply is 46 to 38 in favor of Sage. So with Mules coming out of 2 orbitals as well, roughly equal at this stage of the game, as we do have an Observer moving into the main base of our Terran player and see finally everything that's going on.
Now Hart, he's getting up his armor, he's getting out some tanks, but Sage with that Stargate, with the Dark Shrine, what has he got in store for us? I'm really excited about what could be going on, and the Observer is getting a good look at those Hellions trying to hide, so Sage is completely reading his opponent perfectly.
This is going to be very interesting indeed. The Stargate, Dark Shrine immediately, and the Fleet Beacon and second Stargate coming down from him as well. He wants everything in this
medevac
game.
Oh, it just got out in time. Sorry to interrupt you there, Joe.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
But a nice little... This is
that Scad! That Scad has seen everything except one starport. He's seen the starport in construction. He saw the Fleet Beacon. He saw the Twilight Council. He saw the Dark Shrine. That was the clutch Scad from Axiom there. Really, really good play from Hart.
Now, Hart, of course, once you know, you don't need to see that second Stargate if you see the Fleet Beacon. You know it's going to be there. And as a result, this now just means that these two are really on the mark with each other. They are both reading the game perfectly. They are both engaging perfectly. The only things lost have been just under 250 resources for the Terran. So this is a really close game right now.
This is this is just a very passive game overall so far, where both players are scouting each other out rather well, but it's going to gear up to a really, really nice late game where we're going to see a lot of action, hopefully across multiple locations on the map at the same time. We're at about the 12-minute mark at the moment, and we have 2 carriers, ladies and gentlemen, in production from Sage. So Air Toss is not dead. He's not going purely air, though. He has a healthy number of gateways out, and he's got an Immortal and a couple of gateway units at his front, but carriers are going to feature...
A DT coming into the natural, but does get taken out due to the Raven there. That was unfortunate, but of course, carriers, I just got instantly 10 times more excited once you see the carriers are down.
This game has taken a weird turn, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't yet cast a HOTS game like this. I'm really excited to see where all of this is going. Now, the DTs were an investment for Sage that really haven't been that fruitful. Imagine if that Dark Shrine, for example, was a 3rd Stargate or something similar. Maybe he'd have a better standing army, but it's actually not him that's pushing it across the map right now, because Hart is knocking on the front door and he's turning all his Hellions into Hellbats. This attack is looking pretty serious.
There are a lot of tanks there. Siege mode not required, of course. The Hellbats, the Marines, everything's starting to move forward. Even a Widow Mine, which he will try and bait Sage into. But here comes the Hellbats. There's so many units here for Hart.
And a single Hellbat, unfortunately, getting caught on the wrong side of that force field. The Widow Mine back at the wrap, not really doing too much at the moment. He might poke that a little bit further forward. And here come the carriers. But, oh, they're losing a lot of hit points through those Marines. Can he pick up the Marines fast enough in the air to be incredibly effective? I'm not so sure right now. The first one is almost dead. The second one has lost all his shields. The Hellbats taking a lot of damage, but now the tanks are being destroyed by interceptors. It looks like Sage should be able to hold this.
It is going to be close. The carriers will clean everything up. But the problem is, there is just so many tanks here. It all comes down to whether or not Hart is able to deal some good damage. He's trying to build a missile turret to deal with the carriers, which is a bit of a bold solution. But this push has been ended for the moment. With Tempest out, those tanks are certainly going to get shut down.
Yeah, that was really cool. Oh, the Widowmine almost picked. If the Widowmine had hit a different carrier, it would have actually taken one out there. Unfortunately, will not get them down. Both carriers on very low health, but really, really instrumental in holding off that push. Carrier has arrived indeed.
So let me summarize that for anyone who didn't catch quite all that action. We saw Hart push forward with a massive mech force, loads of Hellbats, loads of tanks. He even had a Raven in there for detection and a Widowmine still positioned to the natural. He got right up to Sage's natural, some force fields, bought Sage a bit of time, but then the double carriers popped. There was no anti-air once the Marines had died, and that forced Hart back for the time being.
No, that's a really good summary there, Maddle. So if anyone's wondering exactly where we are in this game right now, Sage is on 118 supply, Heart's on 113, and if we take a look at the worker count, it's actually 66 to 53 in favor of our Protoss player. So really nice hold there from Sage, using those two carriers. Tempest picking apart that Widowmine right now, and things looking comfortable for him as he takes and completely saturates his third.
Both players on 3 bases, as you pointed out there, Joasar. They are going equally for this. This Warp Prism, what are you doing, Mr. Warp Prism? Are you going to warp in some DTs? Are you going to try and sneak in there? Because guess what? There isn't a Raven out anymore for that money detection, but there is a missile turret. So that single missile turret, I didn't catch it first, will be able to defend this. So what is going to come out here? We see the Templar Archives, the DT warping in. The second DT Sage has used that isn't going to do anything.
I'm afraid not. No, perhaps the nicer thing to do would maybe to send that War Prism into the main base, because at the third and the natural there are missile turrets in place, but there's no unit to actually kill the DT right now, so he's getting a couple of worker kills, continuing to go to town, and now Hart, he's losing a bit of mining time, only 3 workers killed, good retreat by the DT, and now the War Prism is going into the main base. No missile turrets here.
No missile turret, 3 Zealots, 1 DT. This is going to really tax Hart's multitasking. Sage trying to mix up his opponent, trying to be a bit bold, but we see an instant pull of all the SCVs there, and now the Viking coming in to clean out that Warp Prism, but still, good amount of damage being done here.
That was a... Wow, 12 Vikings to clear out 1 War Prism. If that is an overkill, I don't know what is. There goes the scan in the main base, and the DT is going to go down. The Zealots are going to get cleaned up. Meanwhile, we have the air targeting the siege tanks in the middle of the map, using those Tempests to try and pick them up from afar. 14 workers killed to 4 in this game at the moment. It's 158 supply versus 155.
So, we're now seeing at a point where actually Skytoss is getting rather powerful. Those Tempests give Sage the all-important range, but look at the Viking count. We're already up to 16, Joasar. There's 7 tanks on the ground, 7 Marines, the 5 Hellbats and the Thor. Can Sage hold this push? It's all going to come down to some tight engagements. The Vikings are starting to move forward. They snipe down 1 carrier, the second carrier taking some damage to the Tempest, but this is getting pretty crazy pretty quick.
Yeah, the Vikings doing a lot of damage here. Sage doesn't quite have the supply he ideally would like for late game scenario, but the Immortals doing so much damage at the moment on the ground to those tanks. Will he be able to hold on? I don't think so. He's only down to 2 Tempests and a couple of DTs. Clutch save there from Sage. But the Vikings in the meantime, though, owning the air.
There's the scan. Those DTs, absolutely hero units right there. They took out so much, but all of the air forces for Sage did die to those Vikings. A great cleanup by Hart, but pretty mutually destructive.
Now, here's a really interesting situation, because basically both players have boxing matched each other half to death at the moment, but here's the difference. Like Mech, Skytoss takes quite a long time to replenish, man, and all of his air units, all of Sage's air units just disappeared. So does he continue with Skytoss now? He is making 2 Tempests, or does he attempt to switch it up a bit?
Well, for the moment, Sage, he's trying to push forward, thinking that he actually came out on top there, but the key thing that I'm noticing is that Sage, 72 workers to the 58 SCVs of Hart. Now, while there are 3 mules mining away quite happily, to be honest, that is... I'd say that's pretty close still. It's probably just about even now, but the important thing, though, for Sage is that he doesn't lose this Archon and Stalkers.
Oh, and picking apart the missile turret is a cute move there. It means that Sage might be able to send a couple of DTs in and force a couple more scans out of Hart Future. He's also taken a sneaky little 4th base in the bottom right-hand side as well. So I think the game Sage wants to play the long run right now is as follows. prevent Heart from moving out across the map because there are small pockets of units everywhere. Try and deny the third base from Heart and take that down as quickly as possible, and get my fourth base up and running without my Terran opponent seeing it. That feels like it should be Sage's game plan right now.
It seems right. Expand and push. Staple of StarCraft 2. But what I'm noticing really importantly is that Heart, he's got the +2 vehicle weapons. Meanwhile, Sage, he's sitting there with Graviton catapults for the non-existent carriers now, but he's got Blink and +1 air weapons, so he's really committed to Sky Toss. So what he needs to do now is start pumping out units ASAP, because the longer this goes on, I can't help but feel that this mech force is getting good. And what's this medevac doing? Hellbat drops. We know how much they're scaring people at the moment.
On 4 Hellbats. Great blink, and that medevac is toast. 4 Hellbats say bye-bye. Absolutely not. And that was actually really important, because there are no units near that expansion right now, and those Stalkers would have taken about 15 seconds to move away. That Hellbat drop could have done a lot of damage. As we have Sage now moving in towards the third. I'm not sure this is the best idea.
And neither does Sage. He pulls straight back out from there, Jorisar. He was just as quick thinking as you were. And really, this hidden bottom right base is so important in my opinion, because this is allowing Sage to get that extra income. And while we do see Heart taking his 4th command center, and he's got his 5th and 6th orbital commands already built, well, to be honest, it's getting very, very close. And I mean, Sage, he's just being aggressive, poking and prodding everywhere.
Oh, and very good with the Stalkers, using them to be more mobile. He knows the tanks are coming from the bottom of the ramp, so he moves towards the third base location. Good
Beautiful
on top of that tank, and he's taking out the missile turret to prepare potentially for some DTs. Picks spot a couple of Hellbats as well. Just nice little grab there, preventing Heart from moving out across the map.
DT's running into the natural base. They're going to be able to kill quite a few units, but there goes down a scan ready. Meanwhile, more DTs are running around. Now, the lost tab is probably an important tell right now. We're seeing the just under 17,000 resources lost for Heart compared to just under 15,000 for Sage. This is really close. I would still say, though, that Sage is slightly ahead, just using those mobility of the Stalkers so well.
DT back in the natural. How many scans this game has Heart used to try and pick apart these DTs? He's still using a lot of scans, even though he built a lot of missile turrets. So all of that is really hurting the economy of the Terran player right now. And Sage is very slowly, very methodically whittling his opponent down.
Another DT to the third, and another scan forced. And the trouble is, we see here that actually Heart 41 SCVs to 76 probes. He needs those mules so badly. He cannot afford to keep scanning.
Look at the income tab. Heart is currently on 280 minerals a minute versus the 1800 from Sage. This is dire for the Terran. He needs to grab additional bases ASAP. And all the while, Sage is just continuing to build up a really, really scary army. The one thing I would say, though, is that Sage hasn't really been focusing on upgrades. He's floating 600 minerals and gas right now. He's only on +1 armor so far, but he is maxed out.
He's moving up. He feels he can take it. He blinks. He's going to try and take out those tanks as quickly as he can. The Vikings even landing. Such an overcommitment to Vikings when there is no air units at all. But for the moment, it seems that Heart is going to hold. And that was pretty close. But Jorisar, the figure I want to call out is so far Sage has killed 43 SCVs, whereas Heart has only killed 4 probes. And look at this, a double expansion coming down for the Protoss.
Yep, here's the thing. Sage could have taken that game at that point if his upgrades were equal with Heart. Heart had 2-1 upgrades versus Sage's 0-1 upgrade, so that's not great for the Protoss player. However, he will soon be on 6 bases versus 3, and that's really going to be the massive blow. Even with superior upgrades, rather, Heart won't be able to keep up with that sort of economy, which is why he's pushing out now. Seeing the 4th base location, that's going to have to get cancelled, no question about it, but the bottom right's been mining so long.
It has been mining for an eternity, but here comes Sage now from the side. He's getting some storms on those tanks. The Tempest covered, but we see the Vikings now engaging them so hard, and Heart forced to GG, realizing he is not going to win there. But my goodness, that game was incredible.